Okay, thank you. So to kick off our panel discussion, I'd like to introduce Todd Guild. Todd is a senior partner emeritus at McKinsey and Company, and he's also one of the U.S.-Japan Council's board of directors. I first got to know Todd about 5 years ago when he led a team of McKinsey consultants for a pro bono consulting assignment to help the Tomodachi initiative think about our strategy going forward. So I really appreciate Todd's partnership in this and turn it over to him to lead the rest of our panel discussion. Todd?
Thank you, Laura. It seems Tomodachi has grown up, come of age, and been invited to the plenary stage. It's an honor to be the moderator here today. I'll tell you just a quick story about how I personally got involved. You hinted at this. The setting for this story is McKinsey's offices about 5 years ago. I walk into a conference room, and there, sitting across from me, is Laura Abbot, Suzanne Basala, and Irene Hirano. If you've met any of these women just one-on-one, you know they're powerful global leaders. When I met them teamed up as three, full of passion and commitment to Tomodachi, all I could feel was, I'm in. And I've been in ever since. And I've come to learn that there is something very special and very powerful about Tomodachi. You know, the essence of Tomodachi's original mission was to provide hope to kids from Tohoku through cross-cultural exchange programs. And what we found is, as a result of those experiences, our alumni become civic-minded and committed to also giving back in a very personal way in this bilateral relationship. As the video showed, I think what we're seeing from Tomodachi is that it is a powerful platform for sustained leadership development. As a result of that, over the last couple of years, if my clicker is working here, yeah? What we've done as a board is realize that we should expand the mandate for Tomodachi. And we've done that in three ways. First of all, from our origins of offering opportunities to kids from Tohoku, we've increased or expanded eligibility now to all kids from the US and from Japan. And so you can imagine how that's impacted the diversity and frankly, the selectivity of our Tomodachi participants. Second, as you saw in the video, we now have over 7,000 alumni. And we've launched, and I think are well underway, with a very ambitious alumni program to continue to cultivate and develop our Tomodachi leaders after their initial program experiences. And third, we've branched out. As a result of having Tomodachi alumni leaders, we now have 7 regional hubs in Japan where our alumni leaders convene regionally, and it won't surprise me at all if we see additional hubs emerge in the United States. So here to explain to all of you today who are Tomodachi leaders, I'm pleased to introduce to you 3 distinguished alumni. First of all, I'd like to introduce Mio Kakuchi. Mio is an alumni with an origin story from Tohoku. She participated in the 2015 Summer SoftBank Leadership Program at Berkeley University. She is born in Kuzumaki Town in Iwate Prefecture and is now a sophomore at Iwate University and serves as one of our Tomodachi alumni regional leaders. Mio credits her Tomodachi experience with inspiring her to establish a working group for Tohoku students interested in developing skills as peer counselors to support young people with stress and related health conditions. Next to Mio is Juan Hernandez, an American. Juan participated in 2 Tomodachi programs. The first when he was a high school student. He joined Tomodachi's MUFG International Exchange Program. You heard about that earlier today. And as a result, had the opportunity to visit Tokyo, Tohoku, and Kyoto. His connections with Japan as a result of that have pulled him back on 6 additional occasions. And this spring, while a college student, he participated in the Tomodachi Daiwa House Student Leadership Conference in Los Angeles. Juan credits his experiences with Tomodachi and the US-Japan Council with helping him to connect to an internship with IBM here in Japan. Finally, I'd like to introduce Toshiko Kudo, who is an advocate for diversity and inclusion, as you will soon learn. Toshiko went in 2016 to Washington, D.C. with Tomodachi to learn firsthand about the Americans with Disabilities movement. And then later that year, she participated in a marvelous 5-month program we have with the University of Massachusetts in Boston, the Tomodachi Disability Leadership Program, where she worked as an intern conducting research on accessibility programs in the United States. And to my right, it is a pleasure to introduce you to Lata Reddy, who is the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility for Prudential. She manages Prudential's global philanthropic activities and employee engagement. And as you know, Prudential is one of the lead sponsors for the Tomodachi Initiative. We've asked her here today to share with you her view on how companies are seeing employees and how the design of our Tomodachi fits with the needs of companies like Prudential. Thank you for joining us all the way from the States today. So, Emcee, I'm going to start with you. What was it in your initial experience, the SoftBank Leadership Program, that inspired you to take the initiative that I mentioned earlier of establishing this peer counseling training session for stress and mental health challenges in Tohoku?
はい、私が友達プログラムに参加したのは3年前で、当時私と私の双子の妹にとって学校というのが世界のすべてでした。そこでうまく生きられなかった私たちと、そして妹は特に夢を諦めなければいけない状況まで追いやられてしまいました。友達プログラムに参加したのは学校外での友人が欲しかったからです。友達プログラムに参加したのは私だけです。あの夏の3週間で私のことを私に対して真剣に向き合ってくれる大切な仲間に出会うことができました。それは本当に魔法のような時間で、私が高校で送ることができなかった友達との時間をあの3週間の中で送ることができました。妹は友達生ではないのですが、私の友達プログラムの参加をきっかけにまた再び夢への道を歩き出しています。私自身も新しい夢ができました。私や妹以外にも狭い世界で悩んでいる人はたくさんいて、でもその人たちを救う環境というのはまだ十分にはありません。だからこそ私はこの自分の経験を通して友達が私に希望を与えてくれたように、ピアカウンセリングというカウンセリング法を用いて悩んでいる人に少しでも力になりたいと思っています。友達に参加できたことに本当に感謝しています。
Wonderful. Thank you, Mio. Toshiko, I'm going to ask you next. What was it about the experience you had in Washington, D.C., and then those many months in Boston that changed you so that you became such a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion here in Japan?
トトさんありがとうございます。私はワシントン DC に1週間とボストンに5ヶ月間滞在しました。その中で、障害者の、アドボカシーについて学びました。で、アメリカのいろんな障害を持っている社会で活躍されているリーダーの方と一緒に会う機会があったのですが、その中でとても印象に残っているエピソードがあります。それは、リーダーシップについてです。私は、プログラムに参加する前は、リーダーシップっていうかリーダーになる人っていうのは、人の前に立って素晴らしいアイディアで人々を導く、そういう力がある人がリーダーになるっていうふうに考えてました。で、私はどちらかというとそういうタイプではなくて、 後ろの方でこう人々を支えるようなタイプなのでリーダーには向いてないんじゃないかっていうことを思ってたんですけれども、その方と話していた時にあなたも立派なリーダーになれますよというふうに言ってくれたんです。それはなぜかというと、あなたは後ろできちんとチームのために支えている、それのリーダーシップの一つなんだよっていうことを教えてくれました。そしてあなたはまずは自分の人生のリーダーになりなさいと。自分の人生のリーダーになるっていうことは自分のことを知ること、それから自分の存在に誇りを持つこと、自信を持って生きること、それが大事だっていうふうに教えてくれました。私自身ずっと障害を持ってるっていうことで自信を持てなかったりとか、なかなかこう自分を出せずにいたんですけれども、その話を聞いた時にすごくなんか視野が広がったというか、リーダーシップについての考え方が変わったような気がしました。それに日本に帰ってきてからさまざまな活動に参加してるんですけれども、その中で自分ができることっていうのをすごく意識して発信できるようになりました。このような自分の中での変化っていうのは友達プログラムに参加したことの大きな影響だと考えています。
We're cheering for you. Yeah.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
You know, Juan, Tomodachi is about cross-cultural leadership development. Tell us, what is it about the experiences you've had in Japan and the US that's helped you to develop as a cross-cultural leader?
Well, first, Todd, thank you for that lovely introduction. I think it was a little over the top, but thank you. Tomodachi has taught me that people perceive and communicate and view things in many different ways. The underlying belief of what makes a good leader differs across cultures, and so it is important that when you're thinking about what makes a good leader, you consider these differences in culture and practices. And as I move into my career and my future, I realized how important it will be for me to adapt to these changing environments, and how important it is for me to consider these backgrounds, maybe at work or personal relationships or at school. During my most recent program with Tomodachi, the Daiwa House Student Leadership Conference, and through my internship at IBM, I learned that active listening is good. But actively listening and considering these cultural differences is incomparably more powerful. And it can truly make you a favorable leader wherever you go in the world. And nowadays, whether it may be at school or at work, I take this into practice in everything I do, maybe in collaborating on a project or in discussion. And so to conclude, I think for me that's the more powerful notion that I have learned from Tomodachi.
Wonderful. You know, one of the things that I think all of us who've gotten to know Tomodachi alumni see, feel, and understand is that being an alumni is very sticky. There's something about the emotional experience of the programs that's very transformative and creates a sense of commitment to Tomodachi. And I'd like to ask you, what is it about the kind of people-to-people connections that you make across cultures that's really affected you? And I'll start with you here, Juan. What does Tomodachi mean to you in that sense?
One of the things I cherish the most is my host family. During my initial program, I stayed with the host family for a few days with 3 young siblings and their grandma. To this day, I still keep in touch, and every time I'm in Japan, I visit them. From there, I got to meet their cousins, 2 brothers of whom I consider brothers as they do to me, and their older sister. And it started with the 2 brothers coming to stay at my house. From there, their older sister came to visit, and most recently, one of the youngest siblings, Reo, who at the time was 11 years old, came, and my family hosted her. Now, her mother, not knowing my family, nor never talking to my parents, nor meeting them, and from different cultures had the trust to let her 11-year-old daughter travel halfway across the world and stay with me. For me, that made me realize how powerful people-to-people interactions can be. That bond has in many ways changed me. I went from being a stranger for 3 days, and now I can literally go visit their home anytime, just walk in like a regular family member. For me, that's been a very powerful experience. Another thing that Tomodachi has instilled in me is initiative. The fact that I can have self-confidence in taking initiative and my goals and my personal dreams, I think it's something that really came from the various training sessions that Tomodachi has hosted over the years. And I don't think I say this for myself, but for my fellow alumni that are also here today. Yesterday I was in a training session, and one of my fellow peers, or may I say a friend, she was also with me at the Daiwa House Student Leadership Conference, and she mentioned how if it wasn't for that conference, she doesn't think she would have taken the initiative to be here today. So for me, truly I think Tomodachi has made me an individual who is empowered to take initiative for good causes.
Thank you, Juan. Toshiko, how about you? We heard a bit about how powerful your experiences have been, but what does Tomodachi mean to you?
私は友達プログラムに参加してから本当に多くの仲間と出会うことができました。そして仲間たちと一緒に学んで、一緒に経験して、一緒の景色を見てっていう経験をして、それが日本でそれまでしてきた経験とは全然比べ物にならないぐらい濃い思い出として残っています。そして帰国してからもそのネットワークは続いていて、お互いに刺激し合ったり支え合ったりっていう大切なネットワークになっています。それから今日この隣にいるお二人もそうですし、会場にいる皆さんもそうですし、友達がつなげてくれた人っていうのは本当に普段出会えないような人をつなげてくれますし、いろんなジャンルを超えて一緒の場で一緒の目標に向かって話し合って、そして一緒に支え合えるっていう、そういう大切なつながりを作ってくれるのが友達だと感じています。
Thank you, Toshiko. Mia, let's conclude with you. What does Tomodachi mean to you?
はい、友達プログラムは私にとって教科書のようなものだと思っています。そこで友達プログラムを通して出会う人たちは私にはないものをたくさん持っていて、そしてそれは私がどうしても欲しいものなので、それをうまく盗めるようにこれからも皆さんと関わっていけたらいいなって思っています。友達に参加する中でやっぱり自分が大きく変わりました。なんかありきたりですけど自信を持てるようになりましたし、人と関わることも好きになりましたし、あとは好きなものを好きだと言って、そして守りたいと、自分が大切にしたいと思える人たちも増えていきました。
Thank you. Wow. So you're here to represent the companies who might be interested in people like this, Lata. Let's start, because I think we're trying to be forward-looking and get from you a sense, from companies, from Prudential's perspective. When you think about hiring young talent today, what is it that you're looking for when you recruit?
Sure, great. Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. So under the heading of, the only constant is change in our current world, what employers are really looking for are employees who can navigate the gray space, right? Who know how to operate in an ever-changing work environment. And so that means being able to apply the knowledge that you have to fluid and even unknown circumstances. That in turn means that we're really emphasizing cognitive skills, right? The technical skills that we all bring are still critical, but really we need to be thinking about the cognitive skills, so problem solving, leadership skills. the so-called soft skills, which we know are not soft, right? They are things that we all bring to work every day, and that's why we're able to be successful. Things like our communications capabilities, the ability to collaborate, to work in a team, to be flexible, persistent, resilient. So, right, it's all of that and more. And I would also add, it's right, what's top of mind is diversity, and we heard it talked about today. The notion that we need, right, diversity of thinking to solve the complex challenges and problems that we are all trying to solve in our businesses and in the world. And so that means representational diversity, diversity of backgrounds, experiences, languages, and so on.
You know, we heard a lot today about the impact of technology, design thinking, AI. We heard how prefectures and cities are preparing for that. As you think about companies themselves, how will companies change to manage that kind of talent and operate differently to be effective in this future world we're hearing about?
Yeah, so those sorts of disruptions, right, globalization, technology, demographic changes, again, these macro trends are going to continue to impact how we do business and how we think about our talent. And so to me, it's about fundamentals, right? If the world is going to be constantly changing and we can predict to some extent some of those things, right, and anticipate, I think it's about fundamentals. So 2 core things that I would just highlight. One is culture, right? If you say you value the attributes that I just described or mentioned, does your culture really align with that, right? Are you supporting an ecosystem, an operating environment for your talent to thrive? And so, you know, as an example, if you want agility, and we all say we do, right, in our workforce, but we have a risk regime that treats systemic risk and entrepreneurial risk and reputational risk in the same way, right? We're never going to get there. We say we want collaboration. We need to literally and figuratively give our talent the space to collaborate. So physical workspace, right? The workspace of the future really matters, as well as just the time to step back and reflect. The other thing I would mention is, it's again pretty basic and it's not rocket science, but HR systems, right? We need to evolve so that our systems are less transactional and more about supporting business strategy. And so that's the core. We wrap around that and figure out how to best support our talent. And so things like an inclusive mindset, right? What does it mean to be an inclusive leader? Things like upskilling, we heard that talked about earlier, and talent mobility. So how do we provide those opportunities for our workforce so they can gain those different skills and be able to be flexible and adapt?
You know, Lata, when I was first introduced to you this week by Laura, she told me that Prudential this week, or just recently, committed an additional $1 million to support the Tomodachi program. So we want to thank Prudential for that. But of course, those investments don't come lightly, and there must be a reason why Prudential is excited to continue the depth of commitment you've shown to Tomodachi. So why is it that you continue to invest in Tomodachi?
Well, I too met Laura, Suzanne, and Irene, and
you're in too.
I'm in too. But you know, look, the first $1 million, which we granted over 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago, was about a few things, right? The importance of U.S.-Japan relations. We all in this room obviously care deeply about that. For Prudential, special resonance, because Japan is so important to our business. Over half of our employees are here in Japan. Much of our revenue comes from Japan, so critically important to us. And also because of the reasons, right, the things I described that we're looking for, the leadership skills, the cultural competency, right? Employees who have experience working with people from different backgrounds and different cultures and are comfortable and beyond comfortable, right, can unlock the power of those differences. Those are all things we need. Those are things that Tomodachi, right, instills. The second $1 million, right, that we just announced was easy, and that's because of the young people, right, to my left. And knowing, right, getting to know over the last few years the young folks in the program, right, and seeing the way that these leaders, and they represent, as you heard, thousands of young people right around the world, the way that you all show up, this is our future, and we know we're in great hands, so that was an easy investment.
Well, thank you for the support, and thank you again for being here. Laura, before we wrap up, I'd like to just get some perspective from you about the future of Tomodachi. You know, Tomodachi started in this mission I mentioned before, trying to provide hope to kids from Tohoku, and now we've been discussing how it's evolved into this global cross-cultural leadership development engine. You and I have spent a lot of time talking about the future of Tomodachi. As you think about where Tomodachi is going, what do you see for Tomodachi in the years ahead?
Thanks, Todd. Well, as Lata just said, and so many corporate partners of the Tomodachi initiative have told us that they are looking for globally minded, internationally oriented, risk-taking young people who are the employees they want to hire and the type of talent that they want to invest in. And so we are really investing ourselves in helping to provide opportunities for young people to experience another culture, to go out beyond their daily routines and take risks and do something different. And I think we heard the theme across the board today about the importance of the next generation and investing in that. And I think the Tomodachi initiative is really, it's all about that. It's focused on that in a very real way. And we are so grateful for the so many partners that make this possible. And so we are doubling down on the future and the importance of the next generation.
You know, we really did hear in the stories from our panelists today how a Tomodachi experience is emotional and transformative. When you think about the kinds of programs with Prudential or other sponsors that will continue to develop, what will the programs look like and how will they retain that DNA that's so important to being part of the Tomodachi generation?
Well, I think we have, as we talked about, expanded beyond Tohoku, that we still have many programs focused there, but focused on areas where we can make a big difference, whether that is women's leadership, disabilities advocacy, supporting those who might not otherwise have these kinds of opportunities, and really developing leadership skills. So for our alumni as well, you mentioned the regional structure that we have, and so we really want Tomodachi to be more than just a one-time experience, but how do they continue to stay engaged in this very powerful network, and also engaging them further with the US-Japan Council and our members across the United States and in Japan. So it really becomes a spectrum of leadership development, and we welcome all the Tomodachis to our family and want to keep them close.
You know, we heard from Lata about the kinds of things companies consider, Prudential considers, both hiring and structuring their environment for employees. How will you design the outcomes of programs differently, and what will you expect from Tomodachi leaders in the years ahead?
So I think we've become increasingly deliberate in our programming and the kinds of leadership training. You mentioned some of the soft skills around, public speaking today, and pushing yourselves to take risks and to give back to your communities. So these are some of the themes that we seek to impart in our training. And then also I think exposure to various sectors, business, nonprofit, government, and we hope that our young people through this training will really become tri-sector leaders with that kind of exposure.
Well, before we wrap up, I think it's exciting to see where Tomodachi has come from and where it's going, but I also just want to recognize, I think we have about 60 Tomodachi alumni in the room, and I'd just like to ask all of you, if you wouldn't mind, to stand up for a second so we can recognize all of you. And thank you to our marvelous Tomodachi alumni panelists who bravely took the stage today, and to Reddy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.